Good afternoon. A little bit ago, a friend of mine sent me an article, and it's not the first of these cases that I've heard about. For these reasons and other reasons, I've heard about local police departments just closing up shop. But it's a continuing thing that is going on, and I wanted to show you this article. I'll link it in the description and pinned comment. However, I wanted to also interject with a little bit of what's gone on here. So let me go ahead and go to the article, and we'll talk about that first. Entire police department in Minnesota City resigns. A small city in southeastern Minnesota could be left without a police department after the entire force recently resigned, officials said. The Goodhue Police Department resigned because of issues with the city's pay. Mayor Ellen Anderson Buck said at a city council meeting Monday the city, which is in the county of the same name, it has a population of just over 1,000, according to its website. The city council met to discuss options for police coverage after the department's resignation. The meeting was initially called so that the city could discuss salary increases for the department, but the entire team resigned before it could happen. Police Chief Josh Smith submitted his resignation at a city council meeting last Wednesday, the Associated Press reported. A full-time officer and five part-time employees resigned 2 days after having learned about Smith. Since the resignations have been handed in by our police department, it has been recommended by our city attorney that at this point we need to pursue our other options, Anderson Buck said at the top of the meeting. So at this point, there's no reason to really talk about the pay increases since we no longer have a police force. At a July 26 council meeting, Smith said that there were 0 applicants for the police department and disclosed that the other law enforcement agencies were trying to recruit him and his colleagues. So right now, with our current trying to hire at $22 an hour, you're never going to see another person again walk through those doors. That's it, Smith said, unless you guys do a dramatic change. Smith stressed the urgency of the matter and said that smaller police departments he has looked into pay at least $30 an hour. There's 0 incentive to come out here to a small town, low pay, being on call, affecting your free time and everything else, he said. Members of the police department, including Smith, didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Anderson Buck also didn't respond to requests for comment. At the council meeting, Anderson Buck said she had been in contact with the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office and had a meeting scheduled Wednesday to discuss police coverage for the city in the interim. So, and it does go on. Again, I'll link the article both in the description and first comment. I will say this. You guys know I've said it time and time again that there's not a whole lot of things that are just happenstance. And at the beginning of this report, I had mentioned that I have seen a number of instances to where entire police departments, for one reason or another, had resigned. There has also been a number of other things happen. We had something in our town here, and we're just under 10,000 people. And what happened here, and supposedly the blame goes to the state. I honestly cannot tell you. I have not dug. I know that there has been a lot of finger pointing going on, but I haven't personally dug into it, so I don't want to put my name behind anything in particular because I don't know. What I can tell you is that we no longer have a dispatch here. Okay, we used to have our entirely own little police department, top to bottom. And that has since changed. Now, we still have a police department, but they're dispatched out of the county, essentially. And once again, I want to say that, we are not alone in that move. There's been a number of police departments that's done that, that's made that change. A lot of your smaller ones. Here is my thoughts, and I think it's obvious. I think it's the writing's on the wall. I think what they're trying to do is eliminate local police forces, and eventually they will be turned into federal police forces. I guarantee it. I think that's what they are doing. I think they are slowly dissolving these police departments so that they can centralize everything. The only puzzle piece that fits, it really truly is the only puzzle piece that fits. Keep an eye on this stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of law enforcement and all that good stuff. Corruption's corruption. It is what it is. We need to stop standing for it. But this isn't the answer either. Last thing that we want. In fact, I had been a bit vocal as of late. We administrate a local page for our town, and again, there's been these sweeping changes, and I've made comment in the group to the effect of, you got to make sure to vote out the people that aren't from here, because I think that's what largely happened. I think that people wound up in the local city government that aren't from here. And so some of the things that the people of Highland hold near and dear, they don't, because they don't have the history here. To give you an example, there was a building that was just torn down in town here. Now, as far as I know, Abraham Lincoln stayed at this place. And there's definitely a lot of historical value when it comes to the building that was recently demolished. Migrant workers, back even during Prohibition, migrant workers lived in this building. So again, tons of historical value. However, instead of trying to force the prior owner to get the place out of disrepair and start doing something decent, it just fell apart, and the city didn't do anything to make them, even though I think it was listed as a historical building. Nobody did anything to make the owner at the time repair it, get it back up to any kind of standards. Even though our town implemented a new inspection process for landlords before they can rent out their property to a tenant, it has to be inspected. And this is each and every time they rent out the apartment to a new tenant. They have to, house, whatever, it's any rental property. They have to have a city inspection. Of course, that costs money and red tape and all that good stuff. So, again, a lot of laws, a lot of things are put in place with good intentions, but over time they get weaponized and used against individuals. So, in the wrong ways. So like I told the local people here, you got to vote the people that aren't from here. You got to get them out. You got to vote them out. You have to put in people that are from here, that value the same things that the local people here value. Because somebody that comes from Timbuktu, they don't care. And rightfully so. They're not from here. They don't have that. They don't have that history with the town. This town's got a pretty cool history, top to bottom. It really does. And it has been a really awesome town to grow up in. But, corruption and stuff is getting pretty rampant. And, again, there's a lot of finger pointing to what happened as far as communications here. I don't know. You know? Of course, the city points their fingers at the state because of a state law that was put in place, and then, state's not going to tell you nothing. This is Illinois, so. Anyway, take this with what you will, and just keep an eye on it, because I think that the end goal here is to centralize the police, no doubt about it. So anyway, I hope to see you later for the live show. Shalom.